So Renee, I'm dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers. Everyone's asking me what incentive programs, what benefits they can get, how can they afford their first home with things being expensive right now. I've heard there's first-time home buyers incentive, there's RSP withdrawals, and now there's like this first-time home buyers savings account. Can you give me the rundown on all of that there?
Okay, definitely. So starting with the first-time home buyers incentive, a lot of people think it's just free money, but what it is it's actually a shared equity loan that the government gives you to increase your down payment amount and decrease your overall monthly payment a little bit. So it increases affordability for some borrowers that have high debt levels and maybe are struggling a little bit with affordability.
So if somebody puts in, say they get a $400,000 house and it appreciates to $600,000, how much money are they paying back on that over time?
So if they bought a $400,000 house with 5% down, that would be $20,000.
Yeah.
And the government would match their down payment by adding another $20,000. So instead of having 5% down, they have 10% down. Then, if that property appreciates over time by $200,000, the government has a 5% stake in that $200,000 of appreciation. So that's an additional $10,000. So they give you $20,000 at the beginning, and then when you sell the home, you have to give them $30,000.
Okay, so I guess if the home naturally appreciates in value, then that's not the end of the world. But if you've put a bunch of money into that property to get it up to $600,000 in value, now the government is basically taking that money that you've spent on the property to improve it, and they're benefiting. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. Yes. If you're buying a handyman special or a fixer-upper, we really don't advise that the first-time home buyers incentive is the way to go, because definitely you're investing, potentially $100,000 into that property, and the government's then entitled to 5% of that equity that you've built in the property with your own money and your own sweat equity.
Now, what if it's a forever home? Every first-time home buyer thinks that the first home they buy is going to be the last home they buy. So if they never sell again, do they still have to pay it back, or is that the loophole? Is that the secret?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. But there is actually no loophole. At the end of 25 years, you actually have to pay that money back. So at the end of 25 years, the property will be appraised and you have to pay back 5% of the value of the home to the government.
Okay, so there's always strings attached. I guess who would you say is the best possible client for this type of program?
This program is best for somebody that's buying a house under $600,000, somebody that still has some high debt levels, maybe some student debt, car payments, that kind of thing, and they want to get into the property market, and so they need a little bit extra down payment to be able to qualify. So that's kind of what we're looking for, higher debt levels and want to stretch a little bit.
Okay, so high debt, people that can't afford what they want to buy, those are the clients you want me sending you the most.
Oh my God, you're killing me. But yes, we'll sort them all out.
Fantastic. Now, what is the RSP withdrawal? What's that plan like, or what's that program?
In Canada, you can withdraw up to $35,000 in RSPs tax-free from your RSP account to put it towards a down payment on your first home. So many Canadians use this. They invest in RSPs over time and then they pull that money out for that down payment, but they have to pay it back within 15 years.
Now, is that, if you've got a couple, can they each take out 35, or is it just 35 for one purchase?
Absolutely. If a couple is, if each of them are a first-time home buyer, they can each withdraw $35,000 from their RSPs.
Okay, so is first-time home buyer like it's genuinely your first time ever purchasing a property, or is there some timeline with when you last purchased that calculates into that?
Good question. So there's a few cases where we can use this if you're not a first-time home buyer. One of them is with marital breakdown. So if there's been a divorce and you're kind of starting over, you can withdraw from RSPs again. And another one is if you and your spouse haven't owned real estate for 4 full years, then you can use that first-time home buyer's incentive again.
Okay, so it's sort of loosely first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is this tax-free savings account that I've heard of? Something new that's coming up?
Yes, so it's coming in April. And so with that program, Canadians for a total of 5 years can put $8,000 a year, so to a total of $40,000 into a first home savings account. And that can grow tax-free. And you also get the tax benefit like you get when you put money into an RSP. So it's actually a tax write-off for you in your current tax year if you put that money into the first home savings account. And then it can grow tax-free, and then you can pull it out tax-free to use it as a down payment on your first home.
Okay, okay. And do I have to pay that one back or?
Super good question. That's really one of the advantages of the first home savings account is that you don't have to pay it back. So you can start putting money into the first home savings account the day you turn 18. You can put money in all the way till the time you're 23, or as long as it takes you to get to that $40,000 mark.
Yeah.
And then once you pull it out for your first home, you never have to pay it back.
And what are you able to put in this account? Like, can I put all my Bitcoin and my NFTs? Can that all go in there?
It's more traditional investments like GICs, mutual funds, stocks, these kind of things that should be held in that account.
Okay. Now, if we don't use that money, you put it in the account, do you lose it, or what are your options there?
Great question. So you have 15 years to use the money. So you either have 15 years or you have to use it by the time you're 71 years old. So if you get a late start and you've just started, putting that money into the account now, then you have till you're 71. And if you don't use it, you don't lose it. It just gets rolled into an RRSP or a RIF.
Okay. So what if someone's parents wants to put the money into the account for their kid? Who gets the benefit, and is that something that can be done even?
Yes. So definitely you can invest into a first home savings account for your children or for your spouse. However, it's actually the account holder that gets the tax benefit. So if I give my son $8,000 to put it into the account, then he is the one that's getting the $8,000 tax write-off, not me.
Okay, that makes sense. So the kids always benefit, basically.
Yes, honestly, these lucky little buggers.
Fair enough. So with all of these awesome incentives in place, what would you suggest if someone's looking to save up their money right now, is planning for a couple years from now, they want to get their first home? What's the best bet? Like, where would you suggest people invest?
Honestly, this is my opinion, but I really like this first home savings account that's going to be coming in April, simply because you can put money in there, you do get the tax break, and you don't have to pay it back. A lot of first home buyers, once they've bought that home, they feel a little bit strapped for cash. Maybe they want to start saving for, an investment property or another home, and they don't necessarily want to have to make those RSP contributions to pay back that RSP. So I would say the first home savings account really has an advantage there with the fact that you don't have to pay the money back. I mean, the one caveat I'll say though is that isn't quite available. So if you have money today and you want to get a tax benefit for your 2022 tax year, you can still invest money in RRSPs until the end of February 2023, and it'll count towards your 2022 taxes. So that might be a really great way to just position yourself if you're wanting to make a property purchase this spring.
Okay, well, that's great news. A lot of my clients are going to be happy to hear about all of this. Is it good if I just have them call you so you can explain it properly? Because I know I won't.
That would be amazing. 403-804-5465 is me. I would obviously love to talk to them anytime.
Thank you so much, Renee. Appreciate it.
Of course.